Welcome everybody. I am Alicia du Bois and I'm going to share my screen here. There's going to be some switching around of screen sharing as we go. So this is exhibit pages and how to create them. We're going to go through a lot of things that I went through on Wednesday, but I actually did edit the slides a little bit and add a few things, and I have a list of things to cover at the end as well, that changes that I've made, additions that I've made that you will want to know about. So we'll jump right in. First, we're going to talk about organizing your work, and then laying out your page, best practices for that, embedding media such as videos or audio. We're going to excuse me, talk a little bit about images, because I've had a lot of questions about images and what sizes and different file types are good and how to resize those images. And then in here, 4.5, we'll do the bonus things, which include comments, profile updates, categories, and setting your status to in progress instead of draft. Okay, first, organizing your work. I really highly recommend that you make an outline first before you even log in and start doing anything on the page. It will help you identify your headings, organize the words that you want to add on the page and the media that you want to add. The page, when you first log in, the page you will see shows, oh, there we go. To show you what it looks like. I will show you my own page, because as we are all familiar with, the shoemaker's children have no shoes. I haven't started my own page yet. So this is what you'll see when you first come to your page. You'll see your name as the title, and you'll see a section heading, and then a gallery, sample paragraph, a little line separator here, a heading that says citations, and a list of links. And that is meant as just a recommendation, a starting place to show you some of the elements that you might want to use on your page. But when we're talking about we're talking about making your outline, there are a couple of different ways to go depending on what your project is like. And the time at the end will be a great time for us to talk about the particulars of your topic or your page. I'm also going to host a Q&A session on Tuesday night at 6 o'clock that will be open to anybody. Like bring your questions about any of the tech stuff that you're encountering that we talk about here or I've talked about before, and also, you know, if you just need help figuring out how to lay out your page or what your heading should be, or any questions about your particular project, bring those Tuesday night. We can have a longer discussion about that too. But as a couple of examples, if you have a single focus type project where you are maybe honing in on one particular area or one particular project, you might have headings like what your goal is, what the tools and materials you used were, what your process was, and that'll have photos, the lessons you learned, and the next steps. If you are having multiple focuses in your project, in your page, because you just get one page, you really want to break that page up into different sections. So here I just chose 3 random projects. On my exhibit page might include a woodworking project, and I would go through the planning and process and next steps and my citations for that, and then maybe use one of the separators that I showed you before and put in the next one, pottery project, planning, process, next steps, citations, sewing project, the same 4 headings. So this leads right into layout best practices. The images are pretty important. You want to use lots of images to help break up the text. Work with what you've got. You've got 1 page. So you're going to have to break it up and make it into smaller chunks. Smaller chunks are psychologically easier for people to read. They will read a lot more text if they are led through the article and in a logical way and in a way that doesn't expect them to read too much at one time. Use headings from your outline to as headings in your page, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Be consistent with your heading levels, and if you're doing, for example, one of these multiple focus type pages, so each project has the same headings underneath it. That's a predictable, logical thing for your user to want to move through and want to read through. I want to show you, oops. I want to show you the sample example page that I made with my test user so that I could do this tutorial for you. And before I get to that really quickly, I want to show you, this is the welcome page that I just updated today. Excuse me. When you log in to the exhibitor area, you'll be brought to this page. And I reorganized these links a little bit. So you have just the like important things that exhibitors have to do up here or have to know. And then I've been putting some resources here. So there's the link to the article we're going to talk about today about photos and image resizing, and then the WordPress tutorials. So this is an introduction by WordPress. And then this one is the full length. It's about an hour-long video tutorial where you follow me making the exhibit I'm about to show you, the test exhibit. And then this is the session from the other night, from Thursday night, where we did the first iteration of this tutorial. I also added some important dates that you'll want to remember on the side here. Today, we've got another online tutorial. Tuesday, we've got that online Q&A session. We've got a few more online tutorials coming up about Zoom in the next 2 weeks. And depending on interest, I may run another Q&A session the following week, because July 13th at midnight, exhibit editing ends. And we're going to be checking in. We've already been checking in a little bit periodically to see if you've been updating your page and adding any content or changing anything, because we don't want to have a situation where somebody waits to the last minute to open it up and then goes, oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming and confusing and I'm not sure how to do this and I'm just going to throw stuff in here, or I'm just going to not do it at all. We want to be here to support you and help you really make a successful page and not have the technology be a barrier to showing your work. So before we get to July 13th, midnight, so July 13th is a Monday, so midnight on the Monday, we'll close the exhibitor editing area so that we can prepare for the event the following week, and we can let people view the exhibits and sign up to have conferences. Okay, so all that being said, I want to, what's that? Oh. Okay, I want to show you the exhibit that I created by going to the editing area. So this is one way to get there. There's another link here, or you can use this link up in the black bar. This is also how you know that you're logged in, and it says, how do you text exhibitor? Because that's the name of my test person. So I'm gonna go to the dashboard. Okay, so this is your dashboard, and this has a little explanation of, oh, I need to take that away, because if you watched the tutorial last week, you would know that profile was a link here, and it's not anymore because I made it simpler to update your portfolio or your profile. People were confused about that, and rightly so. It was very confusing. I apologize. It's better now, and we'll go over that later. So my exhibit page is in here, and hopefully you have all seen this. The title for my project is a Byzantine Sargentry Scroll. And I'm actually just going to preview this right away so we can see what it would look like on the site. And all I did was, from the edit screen, I just clicked on preview right here, and it will show you what the page looks like. So I chose a nice big image here for the featured image to entice people in the exhibit listing, but also to kind of give a visual introduction to my exhibit. And I have my title here, and then I have my headings. And you'll notice that right here on the right side of the page, there's this exhibit table of contents. And this appears automatically. You don't have to create this. Each of these headings is a link to a heading in the text. And you can see here that I have tried to break up my text into short paragraphs and added photos and more headings so that it was interesting to read through. Some of the images are on the side, some of the images go all the way across. But I'm leading the reader through my project in a logical, step-by-step way. And then here I have a final comparison, ideas for improvement, a link to be able to download the documentation document, and my citations here. At the bottom of every page, this is another section you won't be able to edit, it just gets added automatically. There's this leave a reply where people can leave comments on your page. These comments will be moderated by the admins of the site so that there won't be any spam and there won't be anything rude or inappropriate written here. You won't see anything like that. And then right below that is request a one-on-one conference. So anyone who has signed up with the site, whether you're an exhibitor or a participant, will see this form. But if you're not signed up on the site, you won't see it. And you can request a one-on-one conference. It fills in your name for you, and then you choose how you'd like to communicate in your one-on-one sessions. And then you put in anything here that the schedulers should know, because we're going to be closing these as well and then matching people up so that everybody knows what their schedule is by Friday the 17th. So if you have if you have scheduling constraints, you should put them in here. And then, okay, so we were talking about layout best practices. And what I really wanted to show you here was how much I broke this up with text, shorter bits of text, lots of headings, and images. Okay, the next thing that I want to talk about is, there are different types of content that you can use here that can break up the text more than what I just used, what I used here. So let me give you an example of something. Let's see, this section is kind of a lot of text. Oh, hello, I've been logged in for too long. Or it needed me to refresh. Sorry about that. Let's see, let's let's just take this, and instead of making it a paragraph, and I can't directly convert it, I'm going to add a different kind of thing here, a quote. And we'll just say that it was a quote here then. So now it will, when I hit preview, it'll do a temporary save of what I changed. And we will see, here we go. We'll see that quote. And again, it kind of just breaks up the text. Too bad it couldn't be up here, right? I might want to rearrange things to add that in. And then I want to also show you about embedding. Embedding means putting a link into your page that is something like a video or a sound clip, or there are lots of different types of things that can be embedded. You can see them here under embeds. Anywhere you see this little plus symbol, you can click on it and it will add a block. These little components are called blocks. And it'll pop up this menu and ask you what you want to put in there. So you can embed a YouTube video, you can add a link to another WordPress blog or Instagram, Spotify, Vimeo, you know, lots of different options. Please don't use Kickstarter. Lots and lots of different options. And then once you choose one, let's see, I'll just put in a YouTube example. Do I have a YouTube link handy? No, but I'll just talk about it. So if you go to a YouTube page that you want to, that has a video that you want to embed here, you can click the share button and get the link, and then you just put the link in here, and then it ends up looking like, I can actually show you this part.
Alicia, can you hang on just 1 second? We have an issue.
Okay, it's an example of what an embedded YouTube video looks like. This is a page from the front end of the site under helpful articles, which shows the tour of Athenaeum that Morgan Donner did last year, and Mistress Morgan Donner did last year. So this is what it looks like. It gives you a window, and if you click on this, it will start playing the video right in the page. So, and then it also gives, once you click play, which I'm not going to do right now, it also gives you the option to open it in a new tab at youtube.com. Okay, so if I'm just going to delete this for right now, but I will show you, I'm going to delete this part also, which is where I put my documentation in, and I'm going to put that back in and show you how it did it with an embed type of file. So if you want to attach a file to your exhibit, you can use an embed like this and have it available for people to download. And you can do this with multiple types of files. And I know that somebody's going to ask me what types of files you can do this with. And the answer is, I'm not exactly sure. I couldn't find a lot of information on that. So if you have trouble uploading something, let me know. But I am going to upload or use a Word document. And if you click on upload here, it will take you directly to the tab of the media library window that allows you to upload. But if you just click on media library, you get your files here, anything you've uploaded, and then you also have the option to upload. So I uploaded it before. I'm just going to choose this. It's a Word document. And select. And there it is. It puts the name of the document in there for me, although I can can change it. And then I have the download button here. Over on the right side, you'll always find options for each of the blocks. And this says, for this link, what should it link to? Should it link to the media file or to a separate page? And should it be downloadable? And this is marked yes. So the download button appears. If you wanted to do it to an attachment page, which in this case would be strange, you might want to open that in a new tab. But if it links to the media file, it will simply show you, look, I'm going to use the handy links to jump down. It's right here. Oh no, I already previewed it, so it's already gone. Oh well. It will just open up a window and say, do you want to download this? Okay, so now if we do that, we can edit that part out too. You should see the link to the documentation, and if I just hit download, it will try to prompt me to download it or open it, which is great. That's what we want. Okay, so now I'm done changing these things. So I'm going to save my work. And here where you have the block settings, it depends on which block you have highlighted. But if you click over to the document tab, you have options that are for the whole page. When you first come to your page, when you first start out, your post status will be draft. But once you've started changing things on your page, it really helps us to know if you have been working on it. And if you save your status as in progress, we'll know that you're working on it. You're not ready to publish it yet, but you're putting things in there, which is great. Hopefully everybody is getting close, at least, to putting things in there. I don't know why it's taking a while to save, but we'll give it a minute. While I'm here, I will point out these categories. This is new, possibly, since the last time you've seen your page, if it's been a couple of days. You should choose the exhibit categories that most relate to your project. So here I chose scribal arts, calligraphy, and illumination because I did all of those things in this project. If I'd only done one of the things and someone else, maybe this is a collaborative project, somebody else did the illumination, for example, and I did the calligraphy, then I would just uncheck that box. You'll notice that you don't have the ability to add categories here, and that's on purpose. I took that away from you on purpose. But also notice that the list is very short, and this just reflects some examples or some things that we've already noticed we need because of people's projects that are in progress. We will be adding to this list. If you don't see the category that you need, please let me know and I will add it for you. And then you'll be able to check it. You also have a featured image, which, if you can see that tiny example, is this shortcut to the top of the page, is this image all the way across. And you have an excerpt, which is a short bit of text that, and it says optional here, but it's not actually optional because if you look down here at this checklist, the fact that the excerpt has text is required. It won't actually let you save your or try to progress your page through the workflow if you don't have an excerpt in here. The excerpt is shown. I'll give you the example of this as well. This is the excerpt. So this is something like what the exhibits will look like when we publish them for everybody to look at. We have the featured image and the title, the author. This will be the exhibit categories, and then this is the excerpt, and then they'll all say continue reading. And it's just to kind of the date won't be there, so it'll look a little bit different. But this is pretty similar to how it will look, and they'll be in rows like this with links to specific categories on the side. So if people want to, and a search box. So if people want to look at costuming exhibits, they can click on costuming, and anything that was marked as being in the costuming category will be displayed. It's kind of an easier way to navigate through things. This seems to have gotten stuck, which is fine. I'm going to hit preview again because previewing makes it, saves it. It's a temporary save. Maybe the whole thing is just gonna. WordPress is really good about saving your work for you as well. It does a thing called Autosave where it, see, it's warning me that there's an autosave that's more recent than the version below, and I can view the autosave. Let's see, so my link got in here, and that's what I wanted to see. So I'll just save it as in progress, and that worked. So that's great. The last thing I want to point out to you that's new on this page is something called editorial comments. If you add a comment here, you can see you're talking to the administrators, you're talking to the people who are going to be reviewing your page to make sure that it's complete, to make sure that it is ready to publish. And if you have a question about something, that you can write it directly in here and hit add comment, and it will leave a comment for the administrators, for the editors. If there's something that they find on your page that they, you know, an image is very pixelated, or an image is kind of aligning strangely, and we think you might want to fix it before it goes live, we will leave you a comment here at the bottom. And when somebody adds a comment to your page, somebody else adds a comment to your page, you'll get an email telling you that the comment was left on your page and what it said. And then you can log in to address it. And then the same thing, if you leave a comment here, then the administrators get an email that says that somebody left a comment on this page and urges us to go take a look at it. So that's kind of a neat way that we can talk about your page directly, and those are not published in the final page. Okay, so I kind of integrated all my little things about this, new things about this page as we were going along. That's very good. Okay, now we're going to talk about images. I've gotten a lot of questions about images. So we have some, let me go back to my presentation. Where is it? No, here it is. Okay, so we have some vocabulary when we're talking about images. We have pixels, resolution, and then we have this concept of size versus quality. Is anybody familiar with any of these terms or concepts? All right, well, I'm going to tell you anyway. So pixels are small bits of an image, a digital image. Actually, I meant to add this to the slideshow. If you are familiar at all with Minecraft, you will know what a pixel is. So each of these little squares is a pixel, and it looks like his face is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pixels wide. The depth of the pixels is called the resolution. And what we mean by that, I'm going to share a different window. I'm going to show you using an image that someone asked for help with because they could not get it to upload. It was above the 8 megabyte file limit. And if we look at the size of this image, the width is 5,184 pixels, and the height is 3,456 pixels. The resolution is 72 pixels per inch. So pixels per inch is the number of pixels that will fit in an inch, and that makes sense. If I change this to inches, at 72 pixels per inch, this image would be 72 inches long and 48 inches high. That's a big image. It's also, the file size is 51.3 megabytes. And this probably came off someone's camera like this. So if we change the resolution, it means we're going to change the density of the pixels in an inch, which is going to give us a sharper, more detailed image. So for the web, a lot of recommendations say 72 pixels is a good resolution for the web. However, if you're viewing this image on a higher resolution screen like a smartphone, or if you've heard the term like retina screen that Apple uses, the resolution for that, the minimum resolution to really look good on there is 144, which is just double 72. So if I change this to 144, and it doesn't change the width here, it's still really big, but we don't need, yeah, and look how many pixels, look how many pixels wide it is. It went from 5,000 to 10,000 because we doubled the resolution, but we didn't tell it we wanted to reduce the size. So now we're going to make these the pixel density, the resolution, better. We're going to make this width smaller. In the page, you have that full width image that I had at the top, at the very top of the page. The featured image is 1,300 pixels wide. That's it. So 1,300, and this is 10,000. So this will make it a nice, crisp image because it'll have a good pixel depth density, and it will be plenty wide enough. If you take into account that the width of the screen that is available to you for your exhibit, I think it wants me to do it again. You don't even get the full width of the page. You get maybe 70%. Then your picture width, your image width, doesn't even need to be 1,300. But it's fine to leave it that wide. I'm just gonna leave it that wide for right now. And then this resampling is, I didn't talk about this last time. This is good to just leave it automatic if you're using this particular tool, or if the tool you're using is has a similar option. This is just about how it should reconfigure those pixels depending on whether you're enlarging the image or reducing it, making it smaller. But look at what, so I'm about to hit OK to accept the changes, but look at what a big difference we made in the size of the image. So now it's 3.22 megabytes and it was 51.3 megabytes. So even at the full width of the page, it is plenty small enough to fit under that 8 megabyte file limit. And then all of a sudden it looks super tiny because I'm only viewing it at 16.7%. So I'm just going to enlarge it up to 100%, and you can see what a nice, crisp, detailed image we get. This tool that I'm using is Adobe Photoshop, and I don't expect everybody to have this tool. It is not probably an everyday tool that people would have. I happen to use it in my work, so I'm very familiar with it. There is and you have to have a license for this software. So there is a free version that does everything that you will need it to do, and a lot of the functionality that Photoshop has is also available in this tool, and that is called the GIMP, GIMP.org, and it's a free download, and you'll be able to use it to edit your images too. If you have questions about editing your images, or you're having trouble with that, or you just need help, you just can't even, get in touch with us, use that feedback form, and let us know, and we will do our best to help you out. Okay. 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 Another question about images is, what type of file should you use in order to save your images? Sometimes, depending on what your camera settings are, you might have a bunch of different formats. So common formats for the web are JPEG images, JPG or JPEG endings, file endings, or PNG is another one that is used very commonly in the web. Those two are going to be your best bets. The PNG images are a little bit, they'll end up being a little bit larger file size wise, but they will preserve the integrity of and the quality of your image. With a JPEG image, every time you open it, you lose a little bit of quality. So it's better to use PNG if you can, but JPEGs also work just fine. And it's likely that you'll end up, or you'll start out with images that are way bigger than they need to be. So if you convert it to a JPEG, or you start out with a JPEG, it'll be fine. You won't lose so much quality that you're going to notice it until you've opened it many, many times. So, okay, I think I have covered everything that I was going to cover. So we are ready to open it up to questions. Oh, one thing that I left myself a note for on this slide. Remember that these are not presentations. These pages are not presentations. We're calling them exhibits. If you've been to Athenaeum before, you might remember that everybody had a table, and they could bring and display whatever they wanted on their table. And this exhibit page is like your table. It just happens to be in text and images and video and sound instead. You are not expected to speak or give a report or anything like that at these one-on-one conferences. They're really, the exhibit page gives you a common ground to talk to the other person in your conference about, so that you can both reference this while you are on the call together. And we'll schedule them for 30-minute slots, which will end up giving you about 20 minutes of conversation, because there'll be transition time in and out of the conference room and things like that. So with that, I will ask Mr. Stisa to stop the recording, and we'll turn on people's videos and have a more interactive question and answer session.